Hey everybody, welcome to that Man United fan. We are very glad to have you all on board here once again, and we are extremely certain that this would be an interesting discussion. Um, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this. Follow this, also turn in and tune into this particular video as well. I hope I am completely audible, and let's just deep dive right into the news that we have today. So the first thing that we want to discuss is probably Bryan Mbeumo. There has been a lot of discussion that the deal has been imminent and almost completed for a while now, and I think that's something that we have been working on for a long time, and I really need to get it done. However, we still don't know what is the third bit about and how much negotiation power does Man United have in terms of this particular discussion around how it will be sorted out with Brentford, because there's been a lot of negotiation going on, but there's also been a lot of discussions which are not really going to help a lot of people, which are going to be like analyzed and done well about. So I think there's a lot more to discuss as well in terms of how you can probably discuss different aspects. But there's also a lot of conversation points about how Bryan Mbeumo will unlock probably the attacking end of Man United, because I think there's a lot more importance to understanding what is the relevance of Mbeumo. I'm sure I might be pronouncing their name wrong, so please pardon me for that. But it's also important because United last year did not really have any sort of goals or anything, and that was something they were lacking goals a lot in the attacking end, and that was something which was really problematic in terms of how things were going on. So I think it's a much more better analysis in terms of how we are approaching different ideas and different spaces. So hopefully the signing does go through. The Daily Express and the Mirror are quoting it, and I think they are decently good enough sources. But I think there's also a lot of excitement in the fan base about having this particular striker come around. Not exactly a striker, but a number 10 come around and play. Of course, as I was discussing with Sam a couple of days back as well, there's a lot of problems and issues also in terms of having this particular individual. Like for example, we do know right that there is a problematic aspect towards this situation where there is also confusion about who will place themselves in which position in this particular formation. So we don't really know how thing is going to work out for this particular situation. Now, however, we are very certain that there is a lot more discussions that can happen, and that's something that we can do a lot more about. So we hope just that this is something which we currently deal with and do better about. The other aspects about say the deal is also that there has been a lot of discussions around the asking rate. There has also been conversation points around how things can work out for the individuals in terms of these particular situations. And it's of course something which we really need to look at as much as we can and sort of have the conversations around. However, you do realize there is a lot of problematic uh, aspects around this, and there's something that we really need to go ahead and for in terms of this particular situation. On the end of, however, any relevance of say the Kuna deal, I think both of these people augment are already lackadaisical aspects of the attack, but I'm hoping that they somehow make it manageable. There's a lot of discussion that are happening around, say, the price tag of this particular attacker, and I'm sure that there's a lot of problematic things. He's also supposed to sort of replace Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, and Gianluca Garnacho, who are leaving the team. But of course, United, as terrible as they are with sales, is something that is really problematic for us too. So we sort of want to have those aspects sorted too in terms of how it's working. Just give us a second to. Right. Extremely sorry about that delay. There was a couple of things that we needed to work through. I think the video should start again soon. Um, yeah. So welcome back again. So sorry, there's a couple of technical setups that we need to do. Of course, since we're starting this out recently, it's something that we need to work around and figure out how to be better at. So sales in United have been a problem. There has not been a lot of news in terms of the sale for Garnacho. There's been a lot of debate. Rashford openly wants to go to an international team outside of United, but we don't really know which team this is, and we are having a problem in terms of how we are going to go ahead and assess this. And I think that is becoming like a huge problem for us to sort of deal with as well. So hopefully we soon have like a replacement for Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho in the likes of Pina and Mbeumo, and I think there's like a lot of potential for us to do better in terms of next season. The performance this season, of course, is not something which is very like mouth-watering, for the lack of a better term. But hopefully, we have people who will be sort of engaged with these situations much better. And I hope that the transfer team actually picks up their slack, because there's been like a lot of problems in terms of how this is working out for different individuals. The second probable discussion goes around for the striker. I think there's a lot of interest in Sporting Lisbon's Victor Gyökeres, but however, there's also like very public information that he's interested in Arsenal. There's rumored that there's been a bid for Arsenal from Arsenal. Sporting is asking for quite a lot of sum of money, even if like Gyökeres had like a discussion or a gentleman's agreement with the club. So whatever we say, we can't really engage with this discussion that is this gentleman's agreement something which should be maintained or not. But I think there's like a lot of like potential conflict and a lot of potential like abilities for problems to occur within different spaces. So I think it's something that we need to be very careful about too. Regarding the other couple of aspects, I think United really do need a striker up front. Hoyland is not somebody who's very experienced. He needs somebody to like take off the pressure. There's been like an unending amount of pressure, but there's been a lot of conversation about whether he should be sold or not. I don't think there's something like which is necessary to be in the discussion. We don't really think that it's necessary for us to sell this particular individual, but hopefully this becomes less like a moot point, and we have like a discussion around how we can sort of fix this solution without like selling a lot of our players who might be potentially stars in the future. I think there's a lot in Hoyland and Xerxes that we're yet to see, and I think hopefully over a period of time we will see more and more towards how they are approaching different segments of their job. Um, on the other end, there are a couple of other like important information points. I think Gyökeres does have like probably an interest towards joining Arsenal more than us. But it might be certainly a couple of like tough negotiation moments for us when we're going ahead, because we do have a good relationship with Sporting Lisbon. There's been like a lot of rumors about how this works out and how this is sort of going to help people or not. So we're just hopeful that this can be something that can be helpful towards people in the long run and the way that they're approaching different aspects of this league. Um, but there is rumors also that Gyökeres will not join training or will not like have discussions around his involvement in potentially anything around Sporting Lisbon. So I think it's a decent sign for us to sort of approach these issues and sort of have these conversations from it. But let's just see and let's just hope that things work out well in terms of how we can operate in this particular segment. I think there's always like a lot of problem that obviously Sporting might not like publicly disclose that they are okay with the amounts that they had agreed with Gyökeres under the previous presidency. I don't remember the current president's name, so I can't really recollect who was this one who was actually creating the problem. But I think there's always like a potential chance for new things and new approaches to be taken into account. So hopefully we will soon see some change in terms of the situation that Gyökeres and United are in currently, and we'll have some sort of like relevant conversation points about it. On other probable targets, I think the midfield is something that we are really looking forward towards. United have made like representative contacts with different midfielders across, but I don't think that it's going to be something that we can very easily consider and very easily have. So it's something that we'll be probably looking at. There's also been departures which are muted, about conversations happening. United are very keen to offload the likes of Jadon Sancho, and probably there might be some swap deals which are in the conversations with different individuals. So the clubs probably in Italy are somebody who's interested in the likes of Jadon Sancho, but we are not sure how that will plan out or how that will plan out for different places, different situations. So hopefully concurrently we are also working on taking out the likes of Rashford and Anthony. I don't think they have a place in it anymore after the skirmishes and after the problems that they've had with a lot of like different situations with the current manager and the previous managers. I don't really think that they have a place in the current team. So it's pretty sure that they're going to be offloaded if, of course, a probable deal comes through. Because with Rashford and with the problem that he's like facing and the other issues that is going to happen in these particular situations, I'm pretty sure there's a likelihood that there might be problems in offloading the likes of people like Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho and Anthony towards clubs, because even if there are certain clubs who are interested, either they don't have the financial capacity to pay for these players, or neither are they willing to like go for them right now in the market, which is something of a huge problem. So the financial year or the reporting part of the year has started from 1st July. So hopefully there is some movement in the market and we get some people before preseason, because of course getting people before preseason is a very important aspect of this conversation, right? Because if we don't get people before the preseason is in, Amram will be faced with the same issues that he did last year, that he's getting players in the middle of the season or having problems in terms of analyzing how they are as players and what they're doing as players, right? So I think firstly it's very necessary that we get the sales done so that we can get more people in. I think a good transfer window will be that we have a couple of other like prominent players coming in, because we can't always keep going for youth talent, because even if we are talking about Diego Leon or other people who've come in the youth setup and the other places, we don't have really enough in terms of the real first team setup that we can have enough people to go ahead and have a suitable like season ahead. Because I think because of the change in the strategy and the change in the system, there's like a lot of things that Ruben Amorim really needs to get down towards their players, and I think that is becoming a very huge problem possibly. And hopefully that is something that is solved as soon as we can, in terms of the way in which we are approaching different aspects. So fingers crossed we have more sales for, and then we have different like conversations. The last couple of probable news which are likely to have happened in the last couple of hours or the last day is the couple of signings for like moving ahead with the prodigy striker Diego Leone from Spanish club SD Busca. He's supposed to arrive in Manchester soon, and he's considered one of Spain's brightest young talents, and he's coming to join the United Academy. We already have Chido Obi, so our academy is getting stacked a bit with striking options. But for me, Chido Obi, Seko Kone, when they had the postseason matches, were really, really top players. And I think that it's something that we really, really need to go ahead and like also see if we can get more of these players back into the system. And hopefully we'll have some like clarity about how the system is operating better in terms of the thing. But also former fullbacks like Brandon Williams from United also on tangential news have been given certain options by different teams, like Besiktas, who has been managed by Solskjaer, or previous manager, has approached people like Brandon Williams as well. But of course, this is a United channel. We don't have conversations around other players from other teams, and teams also going for players who are not enough or not in United's academy or in United's first team. But some of the international women's teams players are also doing pretty well, so it's a very encouraging sign that this is happening. But just we as United fans are of course very pissed off about how things are occurring. We would really, really hope that this can be something for the window, because currently the window is very big. And we just signed one player. It's already like the first week of July. United are the only team probably who is like in stature big and has like good amount of finances for not going for a couple of players at the same time. I think Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool have all made good like summer transfers and have started a lot of like good businesses early in the morning. Sorry, early in the season, not early in the morning. It's too early in the morning for me to be doing this. I'm not even like awake probably. So hopefully we have more like people signing in and doing things which are helpful for this club. But yeah, fingers crossed we do get things done and sorted. Thank you again for tuning in for this small and brief like show in the morning. We are here almost daily discussing Manchester United news and Manchester United fan content, and we're very happy to have you here. This is Kaushik, one of the staffers of that United fan and the host that you will have for this show for the foreseeable future. And we're very glad to have you all on board. Let's just discuss tactics, talk shows with people from around the world and more. Please stay tuned in. Please do hit the like, share, and subscribe button. It helps us a lot to promote this content and also bring you more content here on in the future. Thank you. Have a great, great